Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, my name is Resonance22, and welcome to another 3 vs 3, an Age of Empires 2 HD Edition viewer game. This time we're playing on the patch 5.8 beta, which has all sorts of fancy balance changes, but depending on the order in which I upload things, I'm 99% sure that I'm going to have posted my first impressions of patch 5.8 first. So we should see quite a few uploads before this one, so this one's probably going to come out after the patch 5.8 balance is official. Here are the quick notes on the screen, but I definitely recommend that you watch my other video for my thoughts on them. I'm going to talk quite a bit in depth about the civilizations in this video, as well as just offer general advice. I'm trying to think of ways that I can improve my channel, so your feedback is always really appreciated. Improve the organization of things. If I could get someone to help me with thumbnails, for example, I think I could color code the thumbnails for my videos based off what the commentary is tailored for. Now, I want to take a brief moment before we get too far into this game, of course, to introduce the players. So, on one team, we've got Dubistot playing as the Blue Turks, who will be teaming up with Wriggle, our Orange Mullions, and let's see, Soaring Ostrich will be the Purple Teutons. On the opposing team, we've got Mr. Tip. That's just Mr. the Tip for you. He'll be playing as the Red Britons. Hopefully we get to see some longbowmen this game. That would be cool. Then we've got Ricky, RCY, playing as the Green Goths. And last, but certainly not least, a very loyal Patreon pledger that I appreciate a lot. We've got Sisbon playing as the Teal Vietnamese. It's going to be a good game. Another Vietnamese game. Nice. So the Vietnamese got a lot of changes in patch 5.8 that actually matter. So if we really quickly go over them again, just so that you know, the Vietnamese, their rattan archers have plus 5 HP, and their archer range bonus, which gives their archer range units an additional HP. So it's used to be 10% in the Feudal Age, 15% in the Castle Age, and then 20% in the Imperial Age, is no longer staggered. It's now flat 20%. This is pretty significant. The question is how significant, how much of an impact will this actually have on the metagame and the civilization in general? Because they don't have an eco bonus, and their bonus is like they get to reveal the locations of enemy town centers, that's not great. Free conscription's not great. They're a really weird civilization with 2 anti-archer units, the Rattan Archer and the Imperial Skirmisher. So, and their battle elephants, at least before the changes to Chatras, were not good because having no husbandry, it turns out to be quite terrible, as well as the lack of blast furnace. They're a civilization that is super weak to high pierce armor infantry units, and that hasn't really changed here. But what has changed is they've just gotten better at what they did before. So their battle elephants are bulkier as of patch 5.7. More importantly now, they have really strong early game archers. So their archers in the Feudal Age and their skirmishers live an extra hit now, so it should be 2 extra hits. The thing is, though, it's going to be difficult to evaluate the worth of this change for quite some time. I could just test it in the scenario editor, but that's not a practical situation. Every game of Age of Empires 2 requires context, and I try to provide that through my commentary. So we're just going to have to see enough of the Vietnamese in action. And I'm excited for this balance patch overall, but again, you want to watch that other video if you were looking for my first impressions. And we shall see. So what map is this? Well, since I do read everyone's YouTube comments, and I appreciate those who take the time to leave one, as well as a like on everything I post, I've heard that there's some demand for Nomad. So, we're doing Land Nomad today, but with a twist. I took the time out of my busy day to actually do some tweaks to Nomad to make it a little bit more forgiving for our casual players, because at the end of the day, most players in Age of Empires 2 are at or actually below this skill level. So, to prevent super early game degenerate villager fighting, everyone kind of spawns on the same-ish side of the map. These are values I'll probably tweak. Maybe they spawn a little bit too normally. But it is still a Nomad-esque start. And also, so that you don't have to watch like several minutes of someone at a lumber camp just chopping wood, unless you find that cathartic. And maybe you do, because apparently there's a market for forest snuffing videos. At what point does it stop becoming a joke? Like, that was always what boggled my mind, is like, really? You guys want to watch hour-long forest nothing games? Like, I've casted some truly horrible games in my time that have gone on for hours that you can find on my YouTube page. I have a 4-hour Chinese game. But, like, how much wood can you watch a man chop? I don't know. So, everyone starts here with the traditional Nomad resources, which means they can build a town center right off the bat, which means we get to see action right off the bat. Speaking of action, Ricky's gone insane! He's gone off the grid! Rick, my man! We're hitting the sauce. What is this? No, I am excited for this. That is a fast barracks. Now, it's fast for Nomad, but it's not fast, I guess, in a general sense. Maybe slightly, maybe. 7 minutes in the game. He's getting the loom. Come on, Rick. Show me the militia. Show me... I realize that a lot of people want to see more community games, and that I haven't been doing the best job that I can do. And while I don't get enough feedback, so it's really difficult for me to know what I should be doing, I kind of get the general gist of things. Like, really all I do is every now and then I could get, like, a shock and, like, oh, you know, my Patreon's, like, really low, I can't afford the rent for the month. So thank you all so much, to those of you who just pitched in for that earlier. That means a lot to me. So thanks again to Nathan, Bonnie, as well as Nicola, Make a House for his donation, Wriggle, as well as Jinx, Dubastot, thank you, Ethan, thank you. So, yeah, I just get shocked every now and then, so I don't really know. And I just have to figure out, like, why did I get buzzed there? But I think that a lot of people, at least I get the impression, are looking for more variety. And the expert metagame is pretty stagnant. You know, we might see a lot more civilizations than we used to in the Conquerors. That's true. There's a wider variety of civilizations being selected. However, I feel like the games themselves don't contain as interesting strategic decisions as they used to. And this is due to a number of things, but I think that patch 5.8 will fix that quite a bit. I think that a lot of it stems from heavy nerfs to defensive play. Was defensive play too strong in the Conquerors? Perhaps, but it definitely got hit very hard. And I think you can make the case that it didn't really need that significant of a nerf regardless. It tends to make it comebacks more difficult, for example. It's an interesting thing. Balance is a very fickle creature, so we see more civs, but the games themselves feel more samey to me. And what's interesting is that, sure, the Conquerors was like nothing but like Vikings versus Vikings in the water and like Huns wars on the land, but there was a lot of interesting skill involved at each and every step. So even though galley wars were a thing, galley wars are much more skill intensive and interesting and intense than fire galley wars, which are like this attack move in the correct direction and you probably will win. It's an interesting balance, definitely, and one that I try to strike. So variety is definitely important there, I think. I do think that the new civs are exciting, but at the same time, I've heard from people, a lot of people that have dropped out of Age of Empires due to that it's just too overwhelming at this point. There are way too many civs, I can't keep track of it, for example. And, you know, the massive power creep has definitely had an interesting effect on the metagame. You know, the balance is in a weird spot when the Koreans were, like, top tier in Arabia, and you're seeing tower rushes on Arena. But the new balance patch does quite a bit to address that, so I'm quite excited for that. And, man, Wriggle can't catch a break. I gotta pan the camera away. I am sorry, my friend. No one saw that. Everyone in the chat, nobody saw that. Okay? Repeat after me. Wriggle did nothing wrong. That elephant. Those elephants are monsters, man. What is that? So brutal. So brutal. Jinx says, show us Rick's craziness. I'll show you what Rick's cooking. Oh, he's cooking some good stuff over here. He's got a lumber camp. I don't know. I don't think Rick... I don't know, I don't think he's up to anything super strange. He's just got a barracks to defend himself. Which I like, because he is the flank. And I know this is Nomad, so people aren't really used to this, but it looks like he's even got a house wall. I don't think Rick's crazy at all, actually. Looks like he was just bamboozling us. Now, these two are awfully close to each other. Rick is very isolated, though. That's the thing. No one wants to have their base located so close to a man who's willing to open up with a barracks 7 minutes into the Nomad map. That is too dangerous. Too much of a security risk. So Syspawn, Mr. Tip have already isolated themselves on the right side of the map. Now, that's just unintentional. I'm obviously joking, because that's where they spawned. Oh, he's gonna drop the double stables. Okay, so never mind. Rick has been hitting the sauce, and I like it. I like it a lot. I feel like the intermediate level games, and even the low level games, like there's so much benefit to them. Not only can I teach you a lot, but I also feel like the games themselves are absolutely hilarious. And I never get tired of watching these because I never know what to expect. It's like when you're watching players that know just enough about the game, they execute like weird shit well. I like that. And it works because no one's playing absolutely perfectly, and I think that you can learn a lot more from watching those types of players. But there's also a lot of value to expert games as well, as long as people take the time to break down that analysis. Now, poor Wriggle, unfortunately, is still in the Dark Age because, again, he did nothing wrong, and that elephant is the real jerk here. But he's going to get forward double stable by the Goths, which, in the Feudal Age, which is not the standard Goths build, but it's really smart of Ricky. You know, you can tell he's been researching this random map that I've never showed anyone on stream before, and that he could never have possibly played unless he's been masquerading as one of my real-life friends for several years. If he has, kudos to Ricky, because that is probably the best example of 4D chess I have seen in Aoe2. People have suggested I get a 4D chess emote, and I really want to hear everyone's emote suggestions. But if Ricky has been pretending to be one of my friends for 4 years now, just to get a sneak peek at this map, he's earned this win. As far as I'm concerned, he's earned this win. Sorry, Wriggle. He's gonna have a rough time. So why is he going for the double stable forward Goths build? Oh, and the blacksmith. Oh, keep doing this. Keep doing what you're doing. I like this. I can cast this game since 2009 and it stays fresh. You forced Wriggle to make a militia, you monster! Rick's insane! What are you doing, Rick? Force him to make a militia! I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. I have a lot of trouble with video titles as well. I don't get it. I don't get it. It sucks to be Morty. Another one. Another one. Is there too much violence in this video for me to actually post it on YouTube? I don't understand. I know it's already gonna get demonetized right off the bat. Right off the bat. Because I'm pretty sure I said a unit got killed. And I haven't had the time yet to turn everything into a rubber weapon like I said I would. So, but this is just carnage. Never in my life have I seen militia being forced out in response to the level 4 stable. So why on earth is this madman doing it? This madman! Unlimited power. Why? Because, well, there's so much food in the map. And I gave him the Nomad start, so he's just decided he's going to scout rush everyone out of the game. Is this how you play the Goths now? Instead of going to the Imperial Age, you kill everybody in the Feudal Age with a double forward stable. I mean, there's a lot of food on this map that he actually scouted for. And if we go to Ricky's perspective, I mean, he got a pretty lucky spawn with a ton of cows, which are, it's all RNG. I put in a bunch of extra RNG in this map because this map actually play with my friends usually versus the Resonance Podcast Man and the Steam Workshop. Which coincidentally, I need to update. It's going to be a real... Soaring Ostrich also did nothing wrong. Why does this keep happening to me? It's like I'm cursed. Every time I look at someone's base, they just... a villager dies. Is it because I keep reminding people to continuously make villagers all game? Why? Why? The world may never know. So yeah, Ricky's he's doing a lot of raiding, and I think that leveraging the additional elephants and cows and zebras, if you can find them, is excellent. This is after I nerfed the free extra food I put on the map for fun for my friends. I just never thought I'd see someone actually take advantage of it as a Goth, no less. I feel like a lot of new players are, when they're looking at Civilization, they know that the Goths are an infantry civ, and they just kind of get locked in that one mindset, rather than adapting to the map. I mean, this is adapting to the map in a nutshell from Ricky, as he's never seen it before. Unless he's, again, been pretending to be one of my real-life friends for 4 years. He's going to pick off 4 villagers here from Soaring Ostrich, who did nothing wrong. Sorry, I gotta check the map really quickly. Gotta check the chat, sorry. Okay, just Rick's craziness. Yeah, Rick is broken the meta, he's kind of crazy. Shaker says, instead no one bothers with intense naval wars anymore, as apparently they're too boring. They're really boring. But, you know, that's just because the Fire Galley itself isn't a very skill-intensive unit. It's not. Now, we got the Britons here. Those aren't longbowmen, so Mr. Tip, he was getting me excited, but, you know, Archer's fairly standard. They're fairly standard. And it looks like he's going for the bully, the Rush, on Soaring Ostrich. And we'll see how that turns out, as he is behind in age. Ah, Mr. Tip is too late! Talk about first world problems, this never really happens to me when I play. You ever just, you send your army of archers across the map, you're ready to kill all those helpless foragers, and your teammate is too good at the game that he's already killed all the villagers you want to kill. Life's tough, man. Sometimes life is tough. You guys ever have to deal with that struggle? I really don't. No, usually it's, the teammate's really slow. Now my teammates are too fast. They killed all the units. I didn't get a chance to do anything this game. God damn it. I hate getting carried, said nobody ever. Now Mr. Tip is actually playing really well, jokes aside. And he's a very large army. And it's interesting that Soaring Ostrich, our Purple Teutons player, is the only player in the Castle Age. And I think if he is able to take advantage of that tech lead, he should be in a good spot. In fact, he's going for knights, and he has +1 defense, which is huge. So all he needs to beat this army, 1 knight won't do it. I'd say 3 is pretty safe. And if Red wants, he can box his archers in to prevent them from being surrounded by the knights. The more clumped they are, and if he's using the elevation, trying to abuse that, then he could even take down the knights, but it'd be difficult to say. Right now, it looks like the game is experiencing a little bit of res lag, because we're playing Aoe2 HD. Definitely makes me a little spooked for the future, to be honest with you, because Aoe2 HD doesn't have, at least as of this recording, in the live stream, no active development team. Yeah, we got a balance patch. ELO works now, but without a development team, it does scare me, because I know that there are a lot of people that love, I hope Save and Exit works, because I don't know if it does. Oh, continue, he's still here. Or, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I can't do anything. Yeah, continue, Rick.
Yes.
Oh no, now Dub is thoughts in saying it? Alright, are we fine? I don't think we are, it's Aoe2 HD. Anyway, so without a development team, yeah, it concerns me, because I feel like Aoe2 HD is that necessary. Alright, out of sync, excellent. Alright, I'm gonna rehost this and we'll see if this works. So, it concerns me a little bit, since this is a very, very important onboarding point for new players. And Voobly, while, you know, Wolo Kingdoms and Voobly are much easier to set up than they used to be, there are a lot of players that are just not going to install those programs by default. And Aoe2 HD has that strength of accessibility, which is something that just being available on Steam, not being just exclusive to Windows 10, for example, those are huge things for the game. Steam is a massive platform that everyone uses. And imagine this. You're playing just any game you want. You know, let's say, I'll just pick a game that no one's ever heard of. How about The Elder Scrolls Skyrim? It's a good game. So you're playing Skyrim, this new indie game that no one's ever heard of before. And then you see your friend log in, and he's playing Age of Empires 2. And then suddenly this wave of nostalgia washes over, and you're like, holy shit, Age of Empires 2 is still a thing. People are still playing it. I can play this game on Steam. I can buy it right now. That's incredible. And people do that. Age of Empires 2 HD Edition brought so many new players to the community. And it also subsequently brought so many new players to Voobly as well, as a result. And it's been huge for the game. A massive revival of interest. And I wonder if Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition will have the same effect. We don't know if it will be cross-platform or not. I pray it is. If it's Windows Store, it's an interesting thought. I definitely would understand why Microsoft would do that. It really makes sense from a business standpoint, and competition is healthy. But it does make the game less accessible. And I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be Windows 10 exclusive, like AoE Definitive Edition is something that we can base that off of. So I wonder if it'll have a similar effect. Also, Aoe2 HD Edition happens to have the benefit of having almost nothing HD about it, which is weird because I don't often talk about that aspect of it, but that is an aspect. where you really get the nostalgia vibes hard when you play this game. Because there's nothing HD about this. Just like how when you play Age of Mythology Extended Edition, you realize that there's nothing extended about it, and it's just, quote, HD, but it actually... So, I mean, we'll see. Because I want to keep doing community games, but it's very difficult. You know, we try to do them on Voobly, but it's difficult to get people to move over there. And it's a different community, definitely, a different mindset. So that's just my food for thoughts. This is definitely not a bug. They all picked Aztecs. You guys are just misremembering the last few minutes. Still waiting for Syspawn. Welcome to the stream, Magay, Grigsy Boy. Thank you for following, both of you. Shaker says Microsoft all but abandoned the game back in 2005, back when Zone closed down, and Ensemble Studios ceased to exist. It's amazing that any sort of community has managed to keep going. I completely agree, and a lot of it has to do with not just the content creators and the players, but also the quality of the game. This game is freaking fantastic. It's truly, truly timeless. Well, when Syspawn joins, Ricky has to go. It's the rule of two. Alright, never mind, he's back. Oh, that's the ping I like to see. Your ping should be directly correlated to your elo. And if your ping isn't higher than your elo, then you're probably just playing the game wrong. So, let's see. Recruit asks, hey Rez, been a while, how's it going? Honestly, not so great. I appreciate you asking. But right now I'm in a very rough financial spot due to the job situation. So I have to figure out whether or not I want to try something like MEMD in the short term, do streaming and YouTube full time, and if there's support for that, because it is an option as like an interim thing, or I need to find a job ASAP. And it so turns out that finding a job ASAP, it just doesn't work that way. Like, interview processes take months. And due to my niche, it's been quite tricky. It's been quite tricky. So yeah, things have been difficult. So I really appreciate all the donations and everything, as well as those of you who have pledged on Patreon today. It means a lot to me. And I suppose I will cut back into here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are we going to witness the first successful restored game in Age of Empires 2 HD Edition since patch 3.9. In the lobby, we saw everyone switch their civs to Aztecs. In the loading screen, they switched to Aztecs, which means that, during testing, nobody restored a game. Or they thought that wasn't a bug. Or they've never played Age of Empires 2 before. I have no idea. Also, during the break, when I edited out a lot of Lobby Simulator, Dubastot lost all of his elo, which is brutal. Absolutely brutal. And the game didn't even end. As we can see, he's now literally 0 rating, and that sucks. But he's gonna earn it all back with this play, because now he's going for Fast Imperial Age as the Turks. I don't know why there's so many similar civilizations in the previous game, but I've always been of the conspiracy theory that random civs are truly random. Even though I know they are. So welcome back everybody. Hello, Slanthrax. Welcome to the stream. Yes, Slanthrax. I am the... Slanthrax, you were caster bro. Yes. I was actually the first Age of Empires 2 caster. Started the first Age of Empires 2 channel actually back in 2009, which helped make this game mainstream. Before that, there were literally no YouTube videos for Age of Empires 2 at all. Like, there was just like 2 or 3 videos in 240p with no commentary whatsoever in god-awful resolution. Now, my older videos on my previous channel were of a terrible resolution as well. That's because back then, everyone's resolution was bad. But mine were actually watchable in 480p. And then I started putting commentary on them, and inspired by my favorite Dota casters and StarCraft casters, I tried bringing this game into a more approachable, light. And it's been a mission of mine ever since 2009, so I've been at this for a really long time. I took a brief break from 2011 to 2013, when I went on a Dota 2 binge, and a Dota 1 binge of epic proportions due to my clan just getting bored of Age of Empires 2, I guess, since we've been playing it online since, what, 2004, 2005? I mean, we've been playing so much Age of Empires 2. I might have almost 3,000 hours in Aoe2 HD, but God forbid, I don't know how many hours I have in the CD version. It must be insane. It must be insane. So, yeah, and because I started that initial channel, I was one of the reasons why, Zero Empires was my successor during my break period. The Dota 2 binge was an interesting part of my life, definitely. And I would say that it was really fun. But it's not the type of game that I'd recommend playing alone. It's much better playing with your friends. But if you know me, I'm the guy that always tells you that I also happen to play League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm, and that doesn't make me a bad person, shouldn't make you a bad person either. It's not a rivalry between them. It's not a competition. You can play them all. Just play good games. Play what you like. No one cares which one you like the best. So, that guy just got bodied. The Knights did not quite work out here. Soaring Ostrich. Wings just got clipped by the Bretons. Very nice. This game has survived the test of time for a number of reasons, and one of them being the Mangonel is such a well-designed unit. It has one more range than the town center. I could talk for days about how well-designed this thing is. It has just the right base damage, health, armor, everything. Movement speed, it's got minimum range. This thing is perfect for the game. And it applies cast-like pressure to down centers, which is really cool, as well as a unique comeback mechanism. Now, Purple just didn't have enough Knights. Why? One of the reasons is one of his stables never finished, and it's at about 90% progress or something really close. So he didn't want to delete it because he'd barely get any wood back, because it's proportional to what percentage it was at. So I'm mostly known for having a really approachable style of commentary. I guess as well as my voice, I don't know. You all tell me what I'm known for, because I was told something interesting recently, and feedback matters a lot. There's not enough community memes. So who am me? Let me know. What defines me? And then I can make some new emotes. I need to track down those freelancers, though. I don't know what happened to them. And through your funding, we can get more fancy stuff. I can advance out of the Dark Ages. That would be wonderful. Get some fancy overlays and stuff. Speaking of fancy overlays and stuff, MemStream has incredible production quality. That is truly respectable. You know what else is respectable? Dubstop, man. He's in the Imperial Age. He's going for Fast Imp as the Turks. Why is this build? Well, if you watch some of my videos, as I have hundreds of them, Fast Imp Turks, really, really good. Because of the free chemistry, for example, is huge. As well as the, well, let's just go over some of the bonuses. So, gunpowder units plus 25% hit points. Does apply to bombard cannons. Really, really good. Chemistry free. Oh my god. It's excellent. That's excellent, excellent, awesome. Gunpowder units create 20% faster. Oh, you're cooking up a stew. It's a recipe for a fast imp gunpowder rush. The faster gold mining as well helps, especially if you leverage the market to buy the food that you need to advance. So, I'm not a doctor, but I would say that Purple is not in the best of conditions. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put him? Let me know, everybody. You know, I try to be really nice, so I'm gonna put Purple at, I wouldn't call him extremely healthy, so let's put him at a 9 for very healthy. I think very healthy is fair. Where would you put him? Now, meanwhile, Dubastot's coming in trying to defend. However, actually, this is not a great matchup for the Turks. In that, how do you beat hand cannoneers? Well, they're really good at close range because of their accuracy, high damage. Now, they do have long range, but the Britons have, like, longer range. So, you do have to watch out for that. They range, they actually outrange the hand cannoneers. And this allows them to also close into the bombard cannons a little bit more. Now, the real question is, should Dubastot be making something else because he's against a souped-up Britons? That's a good question. I would say that this really becomes a huge problem in the Imperial Age. So that's when you definitely have to reconsider. But he also has to consider that that is really loud. So even though I've run out of money and I can't keep my apartment anymore, at least I never have to deal with that every 15 minutes. Phew! As well as the, everybody, we have a moment of silence for all those res showers during this stream. Well, that could still happen because I'm going to have roommates. So, yeah, it'll still probably happen. Don't worry, the Red Shard's probably going to stay. He's making hand cannoneers because, well, he's against the Goths. And, I mean, I don't know what Ricky's been doing, but it's just been great. It's just been great, great, great. Like, he opened up with a double forward stable, was fantastic. And then transitioning to Huskarls. So this actually forces Dubistot to kind of go for hand cannoneers. Now, hand cannoneers plus 10 attack bonus versus infantry does go through pierce armor. You know, they actually do deal with the Huskarl fairly well, or at least it's really his only option. What are you gonna do, fast into the champions? Now, if you do that, I'll probably compliment you, but I will also question it. That's why I have my Break the Meta series. Because Doubt usually does those things really well. But, I mean, fast into the champions, there's nothing fast about it. It takes too many upgrades. You have to research everything. Yeah, that's not a build. This is a build. This is really his only option. Would you ever tech into champions as the Turks? Yeah, it can happen. So, Purple's not dead. How does he get less dead? By building additional town centers and continuing to replenish his lost villagers. Is he doing that? He's doing actually a very good job at that. I like it. Yes. Oh, but his TCs are idle. So, prioritize villager production over everything and pray that Dubistot's coming for you. Now, he actually changed which side he was attacking because Wriggle was also in trouble. Should he have done that? Probably. However, now he needs to go to the right. He needs to pivot. Pivot like some game studios. Just keep on pivoting. Now, is pivoting too late? Maybe. But the real thing is that the Dubistot can't be everywhere at once because these units aren't that fast. And Huskarls are excellent raiding units through their high pierce armor, able to tank those arrow shots, so, I missed some of your questions because I'm casting. One of the best ways to get my attention is through sending me a Streamlabs notification, but I do glance at the chat whenever I can. Also, a great place to ask me questions are in the YouTube comments and on Twitter, but I do read the chat whenever possible. It's much easier for me to read the chat when I'm not playing Age of Empires 2. I really appreciate those of you who support my content for other games, thank you. Because this game requires my utmost, like, full attention. But I do read the chat to the best of my ability, and I will double check that in a second. I'm just really curious about where this game's going. Because, like, it's going to depend really heavily on if Purple gets bailed out, because he needs some serious help. Now, Sispon's been booming up in the back, so he's becoming a threat. He's got these 42 HP crossbows, wow. He's got the castle here. I love the architecture for Rise of the Rajahs, by the way. Like, Forgotten Empires is full of so much talent, but man! Shoutouts to the art department. Like, there are multiple people on the art team. Kudos. Major kudos. But, God, the units and everything, I don't know. I think it's so hard from an art standpoint. I think that's something that's appreciated about the expansion, but we don't talk about enough, right? Like, players talk about balance a lot, but we don't talk that much about how difficult it is from designing expansions for a game from 1999 that I'm still playing. And you have to actually design the expansions and make the new civs actually look like they were released in 1999 without making them look like they are terrible from, like, a graphical standpoint. It's really hard to keep that same style, this iconic isometric sprite work, and not make it too good or too bad. Like, it has to be just right. And I think this game has aged just seamlessly from a gameplay and graphical standpoint. It's fantastic. It does make me wonder, you know, really, will Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition with a graphical overhaul have that same kind of magical nostalgia appeal? Because I really like the graphics in Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition, but I feel like that's because Age of Empires 1's graphics didn't age as well, and that game really needed quite a bit of an overhaul. And maybe it didn't even get enough of one, but that's just, you know, development time. I'm really curious, what are everyone's thoughts on that, actually? So Mr. Tip is really driving the tip in, but it looks like Dubistot is coming in from behind. I think I just got banned from YouTube, actually. That wasn't even intentional. Oh, we had a good run, everybody. So, I think what Dubistot needs to do, besides clone himself, the technology's not there yet. He's doing a great job. Is he needs to build some archer ranges and like a siege workshop over here so he can start throwing bombard cannons at this army. But now we're in the Imperial Age where Mr. Tip has 10 range on his Arbalest. Oh my god, you do not want to fight that. Janissaries have 8 range, which is already long, but not long enough. Now, how's Rick playing? Look, we talked about earlier how Rick's crazy, he's been hitting the sauce, but whatever sauce he's hitting is great sauce. Alright, it's fantastic. He is making the right plays. Elite skirmishers are actually good versus hand cannoneers. However, they're not so great versus bombard cannons, but he doesn't really have much of a choice. Like, what would you make in this case? If you make knights, he's never going to make enough knights to be able to pick up his army. So you probably have to make, like, a combination of skirms and maybe a knight. Why do you need a knight? Well, you need a knight or a mangonel or something to take out these bombard cannons, but a mangonel could just die in one hit from the 12 range. Light cav are an option plus skirms, it depends, but really he just needs to get his eco in order and he needs help. So, where's the help? I don't know actually. Sisbon needed to mobilize a little while ago, but he's on the way. I hope, right? Sisbon, time to go to the left. Now, it's easy for me to say in retrospect. Definitely easy for me to say in retrospect. And I think that a lot of players get tunnel vision when they're new, and that's okay. I want you to tunnel vision when you're new. As long as you're tunnel visioning on the correct things, which is why I did that earlier video on improving your thought process. And the first thing that you should know, besides fine dining and breathing, is continuously produce villagers. I think that Wriggle is actually doing some slinging his soaring ostrich. That's great. You can tell he actually watched that video on improving your thought process because soaring ostrich is not only... Oh wow, thank you so much, Nico Don Don, for your 6-month... Sorry, I'm running out of voice because I've been streaming extra long today. Thank you so much for your 6-month resub. That seriously helps me so much. Thank you, man. Hope to see you in the future. So, this is a rough game. But yeah, Wriggle clearly watched that video, so he knows to sling your dying teammate to get him back in the game. Soaring Ostrich clearly watched that video too, because Soaring Ostrich is moving his economy and rebuilding it. Could he be rebuilding it faster? Yes, because... he did have a little bit of town center idle time, but he's got the general thought process down, and he will get faster with practice. That's the thing. As long as I've got your thought process in the right direction, with practice, you will win. So speed comes with time, but decision making is something that I can teach you through every single commentary. And Soaring Ostrich has the right mindset. Oh my god! I've never actually seen this in Age of Empires 2. What the hell? He is repairing his teammates' bombard cannons. Everybody, please give a res cheer for Soaring Ostrich for the mechanics. Is this guy a god? No one does that. It's like repairing your teammates' galleys on Team Islands. You have to be on some next level. What? Dude, this guy's amazing. Are you seeing this? Thank you, Henry. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jinx, Sithel. Clap. Thank you, Archbajarch. I'm blown away. This guy's got mechanics down. Oh! Soaring Ostrich, you... Oh, spread your wings, buddy, and fly. Now, I do have to say, I like this mill, but at the same time, he's not safe. I like the mangonels, but at the same time, this is Imperial Age Britons. He has 11 range now. Do you want to deal with that? I mean, he has no choice. So how on earth are they going to stop this monster, Mr. Tip? That's a question. Sisbon is advancing, like, but literally and figuratively. But here's the thing. Sisbon and Wriggle are both playing really well, but here's the one thing that I didn't touch on in my previous video, that they missed. So I guess this is the sequel. They both have absolutely the correct thought process and have been playing a great game. But I didn't talk about army positioning that much. Now, I do cover that a little bit in some of my other tutorial videos. There's a playlist on that. But army positioning is a really tricky thing to do. So, in retrospect, everything's easier. Hindsight is 20/20. So this one should have probably done is sent his army to save Rick so that Rick can continue the crazy train. It's got no brakes and just keep killing people. Instead, he's opted for the easier, more straightforward path, which is push with Mr. Tip. And I understand that because, I mean, Rick is really, like, inconvenient to defend. You have to walk around this long forest. And I'm trying very hard not to go too deep into the euphemisms. Look at all these archery ranges, my god. But you need it to sustain production, and hopefully Rick replenishes his town centers and he gets back in the game. So this is where the battlefield is, and now we get to see a big battle between Wriggle and Sispon. A new challenger approaches. New players join the game. How good will these mangonel shots be from both of them? The answer is pretty good, but a little bit better for Sispon, just a little bit better. Also, Sispon has the numbers advantage, and that'll definitely do it. Now, this is a tough battle to take for a number of reasons. One, there's a hill over here that the Britons can actually kind of abuse to harass this eco. Purple's kind of boxed into a corner right here, so it's good to see him branch into the left. I love it when I see players learning and evolving over time. This is great. So, Purple is moving his eco, so is Green. Although I find it funny that Green's actually pivoting into Wriggle's base. Oh, those are some good mangonel shots. Those are some amazing mangonel shots from Sispon. Well played. So, is the game going to go out of sync again? If it is, I'm posting on YouTube anyway. I mean, this is how I pay the rent, so... Thanks for not using AdBlock. I'm posting on YouTube anyway. It's the most HD thing. Oh, did he just disconnect or resign? I don't know. If he resigned, it wasn't the time to resign, probably. If he disconnected, then... Well, he has no control over that. Could they still won this game? Probably. It would be tough. I think that, though, judging by the fact that his units are still moving, it just may have, HD may have just exploded. I've never actually restored a game, I think, since patch 4.0, which is when we lost all the high-rated players as it went over to Vubli. I don't think I've restored a game and then finished it. I think usually someone just disconnects. If you resign there, though, that kind of makes sense. Respectable. But I think it may have been worth playing out. Now, what do you do in a situation like this when you're facing an army like this threatening? Well, first of all, I'm glad that Wriggle Sispon got a chance to show off a bit. And that every player in this game got to do a great job. To beat this army, unfortunately, hand cannoneers and bombard cannons are not the answer. Now, Dubastot knows that, probably, and he was kind of forced into it initially by Rick, but yeah, he took care of the Rick problem, no problem. Easy sneezy. Why is the game still going on? Alright, the game's broken. Seriously, the game will continue until I leave? I have that kind of power? What the fuck? This has never happened before in Aoe2. Seriously! I have that. No, there are no winners. Oh. Good luck defeating me. I haven't released a tutorial video on how to defeat me. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Mr. Tips, Sispon, and Ricky. Sorry, guys. Okay, Alex out of the game. I'll give him the win. GG, well played. GG, well played. So, what Dubastot needed to do, which is easy in retrospect, obviously, right, is he probably needed to, let's see. Oh, wow, he did a really good job transitioning into additional villagers after his Fast Imp. A lot of players who follow my Fast Imp guide tend to not make villagers after getting the Imperial Age, thus resulting in a really small economy, and then if their rush peters out, they just lose the game. But Dubastot actually almost got to 100 villagers, so kudos to everybody. Sispon as well, the only player with over 100 villagers, great boom. Yeah, I mean, everyone was doing a good job keeping their vill production up. The only reason the Soaring Ostriches is a little low is because he kept losing villagers, and same with Ricky. Mr. Tip, I don't know why his vill count was so low, but he played really well otherwise, like immaculately well otherwise. Well, look at his KD, it's actually disgusting. His KD is actually disgusting, he just needs to make a couple more villagers, and I think we got the makings of Young Viper, who knows? This guy's good. Well, a lot of good plays in this video. I would say that cavalry would have helped a lot against an army like that. Now, Sispon did have some pikemen. I like that he's building a well-balanced army comp. That's something that Resbot definitely teaches you. Resonsbot 5-1C does. And, you know, the pikemen are definitely a problem, I would say, but a mixed army comp would help there. The Turks are a little bit limited in their options, but they do have a relatively full stable. They're just missing Paladin. But they have got Bloodlines, Cavaliers, and most importantly, free Hussars. So I think mixing in Hussars with his army, with the army would have helped. Because it would have allowed him to take out those siege weapons, as well as harass the archers. And then, therefore, the archers would have to make the decision of whether or not to focus fire down the bombard cannons and whatnot. Now, the Turks don't have onagers, which is unfortunate, but they do have bombard cannons. I think artillery would help there as well to give you much better of a range advantage versus the Britons. But artillery is expensive, and Hussar requires a larger economy because they're 80 food apiece. Even though the upgrade itself is free, as we can see here based off his eco, it's difficult to transition from that army, and to also tack on Hussars, you need to add additional farmers. But, I mean, everyone here played a really good game. This was absolutely excellent. And... wait, what the hell is this? Yes, there's no victory thing, so this is the most valuable player. There's no victory crown here, so no one won? What if this was ranked? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, this is a great game. I really hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment, as well as check out the content I do for games beyond just Aoe2, and then my social media. If you can give me a hand on Patreon, it really helps out a lot, as I definitely do need that. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, let me know. I read every comment. I make sure to respond to them whenever possible. And you can find links to all my stuff on the screen or in the description below. Really appreciate the support. Let me go double check. I pushed up a start. You did play well. I think the game was pretty close. It can't be perfect. It went on for 50 minutes. I've seen much worse. Schoolboy, thank you so much for following. I think I thanked Girls Love Cookies as well as Moto Taxido Armor. Taxidomor. Man, it is hard to read names when you're a streamer. Thank you, Slanthrax, for following as well.